All right, the Daily Wire fantasy football teams have been selected. Obviously, I'm going to win. Former Alabama quarterback John Parker Wilson joins us to preview Bama's beatdown over Texas this weekend. And Cone tells the latest game day picker to get off his lawn. Can't wait. Thursday edition. All right, it's Crane and Company. Let's get after it. This Saturday, two of the biggest brand names in college football square off for the first time since Alabama beat the Longhorns for the national championship. Now, this game breakdown's pretty easy. Bama has one of the best teams they've ever had under Saban, and yes, you can tell that after only one game with these guys. Texas has some nice weapons at the skill position, but they aren't anywhere near Alabama's level up front. Plus, the Longhorns are breaking in a new quarterback who's golden in potential, but still green behind the ears. The personnel favors Bama. The coaching favors Bama. The level of overall execution is probably going to favor Bama. Now, this is most likely going to be a bloodbath even Quentin Tarantino would blush at. Now, that isn't to say that Sark isn't a guy who can bring Texas back to relevance, but not against this team who's on this mission. Saban lost to two former assistants last season. I don't see him repeating that error in 2022. Now, one of the few saving graces for Texas could be an Alabama offensive line that isn't where they're going to be, albeit they're very talented, but Bryce Young has Houdini escapability and can improvise better than a Ryan Stiles-Wayne Brady hybrid, so the offense is still going to produce points. Now, the Texas offensive line is going to have to try and stop Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, which equals about the same percent chances that I have of building an iPhone from scratch. No chance in hell, really. Now, this game feels like a 55-13 Alabama slaughter, but that is why they play the game. And we're going to continue to break it down. Meanwhile, going to bring in co-host, former Michigan quarterback, David Cone, my brother, former Western Colorado receiver and wearer of stripes, Blaine Crane. Guys, listen, I don't want to sit here and poke fun at Texas. This isn't a let's all make fun of Texas, and they're coming to the SEC, so you get a little taste.
Wait, it's not what that is? This is not what that is?
This is not what that is.
Okay, this is not.
Do we just want to change the segment to called Let's Make Fun of Texas?
No, that's not what this is.
Okay.
But we saw what Arkansas did to him last year. Mm-hmm. And this is more about Bama to me, because Bama would do this against most teams. It is going to be a beatdown on Saturday. I've just watched this movie so many times. It's like it's one of the most consistent things that we see throughout college football. Alabama's typically going to play a brand name school within the first couple weeks, if not the first week, then the second week, early in the season, and they're going to destroy them. I just don't think Texas has the cats up front that makes this a close game. I think, they may come out, it may be a little bit of back and forth early. Texas will come out hype, got the home field advantage. Bama could come out and just shut the party down from the beginning. But I wouldn't be surprised if early there's some back and forth. Texas may even go down and score. And everybody be like, here we go, here we go, here we go. And it's 55-13. And again, this isn't a make fun of Texas thing. This is a personnel thing. I think Alabama wins every matchup when it comes down to personnel. At pretty much every position group. Name a position group where Texas is better than Alabama. Where?
Running back?
I'd take Jahmyr Gibbs. Bijan Robinson, if I'm looking at the whole room, Bijan Robinson we know is a Lambo. But Jahmyr Gibbs, to me, has just as good of a chance, if not better, to win the Heisman than Bijan Robinson does.
If you're drafting, which one are you taking?
Bijan Robinson, but does that mean the whole running back room is better, though?
No, I'm
not talking about the entire room. I'm talking about the
I'm talking about the room.
The running back.
Because more than one running back plays. So I'm talking about the room. I think Alabama has an advantage at every position group, especially up front. You can look at it from a schematic standpoint. You can look at it from a depth standpoint. You can look at it from an execution standpoint. And speaking of execution, I think that's what it's going to be this week.
A few things. One, nice Quentin Tarantino reference.
Thank you.
We might have to do a top 5 Tarantino films.
Ooh, have we not done that?
Think about that. I don't think we've done that.
Pulp Fiction #1, right?
Has to be. Has to be Pulp Fiction. A few things here. Obviously, we could be looking at one of the greatest college football teams of all time with this Alabama team. Look, I thought the same thing in Tua's first year starting as well. That team didn't win the national championship. So like you said, this is why you play the games. Here was one thing I was thinking. There's no shame in losing. If you're Steve Sarkisian, where he's at in Texas right now, there's no shame in losing to Alabama when Nick Saban maybe has one of his greatest teams, is really, has put all the pieces together. But 55-13, I mean, if he were to get run that badly, is there a way to even succeed long-term if you get beat that badly? Here's what I'm thinking. If Nick Saban in his first couple of years, he lost football games, right? Yep. He didn't just come in and you don't just build a championship program right away. You lose football games. But if you lose that badly, I'm thinking like Urban Meyer in his first season at Florida, right? Like, didn't go undefeated, didn't win the national championship. But if you're getting beat 55-13, and this is Sark's second year, you got the transfer quarterback you want, can it even work long term?
Well, let me ask you this. I don't mean to answer your question with another question, but what's worse, getting beat 55-13 by Alabama or losing to La Monroe like Nick Saban did in his first year?
That's a good question. Like I said, you're going to lose football games. I mean, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just thinking the way that Oregon got beat the other day by Georgia, and if this one turns out to be something like 55-13, I mean, wouldn't it be a great sign for Steve Sarkisian if you could keep this, within two touchdowns?
If you lose by 17 or less, I think it's a win for Sark.
21 or less.
That's how big of a gap I think there is between these rosters and between these staffs. And again, like, Sark's a good coach. Sark has a chance to bring Texas back to relevance. There's some other things that has to happen in Texas before they get back to relevance. It's not just on Sark. But this isn't the team. Like, this isn't the game. This isn't the matchup where you look at it and go, this is where we make our stand. Now, you may say that. Locker room's going to be buzzed. We know you never go into a game you don't think you're going to win. The fans are, we already see that we want Bama. No, you don't. Like, you're going to see why this Saturday. But this is gravity. What is going to happen is going to happen. And Alabama last week played Utah State, shut them out, 55-0, looked clean. This is a chance for that team that still has the core of guys that lost that national championship last year to make their first big statement of 2022. This is an opportunity for Bryce Young to really even though he's talked about already his top 3 in the Heisman, obviously after winning it last year. This is a game where you could put up huge numbers in the spotlight and catapult yourself. With C.J. Stroud coming off a game against Notre Dame where he didn't look fantastic, did what he had to do, and they won the game. The numbers weren't terrible. But this could go ahead and put Bryce out front to where everybody else is having to chase him in this Heisman race as well. So I just, again, I feel like it's, I quoted the wrong person yesterday. I said Morpheus set it off the Matrix. Somebody told me on social media it was Mr. Agent Smith who said it was inevitable. This is inevitable.
Well, the other day I said Missouri was in the West because, forgive me for thinking that geographically.
It doesn't matter. Have you not seen the new Dr. Pepper commercials, David? It doesn't matter. But, I mean, if you're Sark, you just want to cover in this game. I believe the spread's 20.5. I mean, Bama's a better team than you in every facet of this game. Special teams, offense, defense. You need to be somewhat close at halftime. I know it might be week 2 or week 3 in some people's eyes, but whatever trick plays you have in your playbook, they need to get brought out because this game could get ugly quick. Because if you're Texas, what are you relying on? If you're Coach Sark and you're walking this game, what do you have to do to win this game? You have to somehow establish the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Good luck. Somehow Bijan Robinson has to have a good day running. And somehow Quinn Ewers just can't get picked up from the ground of every play and just have someone with Will Anderson pulling them off of him. So if you're Sark, I'm trying to think from a head coaching standpoint, how you walk into this game saying, this is where we're going to attack, right? And this is how we're going to win. Because once you're looking at that as a coach, I guarantee he's in the film room with the other coaches that's already looking at the next week and what we're going to have to do.
Yeah. See, this is where I disagree with you. I don't think you empty the playbook bag here because you're going to need it down the road in games I feel like you can actually win. I think what you do is you pitch backwards. Everything you would normally do, you think in a game, I would do the opposite. Let's throw on every first down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw on every first down. Second one, run it and try and get the first. Forget setting it up for 3rd and 1, letting Will Anderson and Jaheim Otis, who's just, again, with the help of the rest of the Oryx, trying to keep Frodo from throwing the ring in the volcano. Like, you don't want these guys knowing what's going on. It'd be totally unpredictable. You want to run 10 reverses, that's fine. Run 10 reverses. But when it comes down to formationally doing a lot of things that you tried to work on and save, I don't think this is the game where you empty the bag. because it's not going to matter in the end. You're not going to trick your way through this one. You're not going to Harlem Globetrotter your way through this one. You need to just try and pitch backwards. Do the opposite of every normal thing. 3rd and 35, punt it.
I mean, that's a bit extreme, but I like where you're going, and shorten the game.
Shorten it.
You're going to hear us say this a lot this football season. One of my favorite quotes ever from you is this concept of time plus talent equals win.
It's my Pythagorean theorem.
I love this because it makes so much sense. If you give the team with better talent enough time, they're going to win the game, right? So if it was 8 quarters instead of 4, that's going to even increase the chances more that the team with enough talent wins the game. So how do you do that? Keep the ball in bounds a little bit more. Maybe run on some 3rd and longs when it would make a little bit more sense to throw it. You might pick up the first down, but an incompletion stops the clock. Maybe you run that to keep it going. Shorten this game. Maybe you are down by 10 early in the 4th, but that's a win.
That'd be, if they're down by 10 early in the 4th, something would really good.
Right? That gives you a chance. So I do like the thinking outside the box angle.
Yeah, I feel like you have to. Blaine, Booster Club, what do they think?
Travis Elrod, #Ask Crane & Company, has a problem at Texas all these years been that there are too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes, and we'll continue to say it. And some Texas fans will agree and some will disagree. And I've gone over what full control means. It's a lot of different things. I just feel like Texas won't reach their full potential until they let go of the wheel a little bit with the people that make the decisions. Same thing at Auburn. Some people can't let go of power. It's all they have. Some people have worked their whole life to be able to build up enough equity to have the power that they have, and they just don't let it go easily, and I think Texas is a great example of that.
All right, Texas Ed says Texas will get to see what level they should aspire to become the next few years with a young core.
Yeah, again, it's good experience, right? I mean, you want to see what it looks like. It's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to watch it on video. It's one thing to have guest speakers come in, but it's another to go line up right across the line of scrimmage from somebody else, see what they look like, not only from a starting group, but from your 85 that are on scholarship and your walk-ons as well, what it really looks like. What level do we really have to be at to do all these things that we talk about? It's a great learning experience, and it's something you'll carry with you in the offseason to realize, hey, I've got to get my body to this point. Mentally, I've got to get to this point. This is how we have to handle business. You see the process firsthand, you start to adopt some principles of the process. And once you mix that with a guy like Steve Sarkisian, who's actually coached under Nick Saban, who has the blueprint, can be an eye-opening experience for the players. I agree with that.
All right. The Darby Lou Cone sighting in the chat.
Hey, DL.
Did anyone notice how David tried to get the guys to say roll tide last night anytime they drafted a Bama player? He failed miserably, but I've trained him well.
Yeah, look, he can try all the subliminal, USSR methods he wants, the Soviet methods over there he's using during the draft, but nobody crumbled to that. We all know.
All right. Nulik Alwyn says, most important thing Texas need to do is convince the recruits they have in this class that also has Bama in their top 4 teams to not jump ship, show them they can help bring Texas back.
Playing time. That's why when somebody's like, oh, man, we played Bama and lost by 30 with a bunch of recruits here. You know what recruits love? Playing time. Coach, you mean I can come in next year and play in a game like this against a team like Bama at a place like Texas? Sometimes it works the opposite way of fans, because fans saying, all right, we just need to win every game the recruits go to. Well, you got a 5-star tight end that go into the game, and you've got a sophomore tight end who goes out there and you win the game because he gets 120 yards and 2 touchdowns and makes the game-winning catch in the red zone. Yes, that's great. It's the whole point of recruiting. But does that have the same effect on that 5-star tight end who wants to play as a freshman as if that tight end would have came out of there and dropped a couple passes and didn't look good, and the coaches walk over to him and say, hey, you're the missing piece on offense. You can come in as a young guy who can play. I can tell you which one about 80% of recruits would choose after that.
All right, let's go to a little Daily Wire chat action. Let's go to Cole Kugler, 1128. Says, how long would it take Saban to make Vanderbilt an SEC champion?
Well, that's a good question.
3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Can you just, I don't even want to think about that. If Saban spurns Bama for Vandy, Clark Lee's like, it makes sense.
It'd be good for us in our backyard here.
That would be great. Dude, the Vanderbilt people, they'd actually go to the games now?
Oh, it'd be full.
They wouldn't be a liability?
It'd be packed.
Bama and Vandy just switch. You know what? I'm not even going to. All right. Well,
all right, you wouldn't be calling for him to run the triple option then, would you?
No.
Cone's laser rocket arm.
There he is.
You guys should have brought on Will Kane for the Texas and Bama matchup.
Well, I've reached out to Will. We've actually talked before, but look, I'm good with John Parker Wilson, who we got coming on the show today. Yeah. Former Bama quarterback.
JP Dub.
That's
our boy.
And talk to him in a minute. Let him see what he thinks. It was good to see him down at the Senior Bowl thing.
I was wondering where the last time we saw him was. It was in Mobile, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was down there in Mobile.
All right, Emma Hutton says, NCAA 14 taught me you have to win every game the recruits come to. That's so true.
Look, run 6, 8, 9 hook, you'll win every game. They never cover the back of the
What was your strategy after a game when you had recruits there that you got beat? What were you
like
doing?
In real life?
In IRL?
No. In real life when you guys were coaching.
IRL?
In real life?
When you guys were coaching.
Well, a lot of it is you tell them, like, look, this is why we need your help.
It's like, that's just the truth. Look what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, you don't go over there and be like, hey, man, did you see that? We got our ass beat. Like, no, it's go over there. It's, this is how you can help us.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming. And,
thanks for coming. Please leave now. I'm going to go cry.
Here's an envelope. I'm not pissed. Yes, I am.
Yeah, here's an envelope that says help me.
Yeah.
All right, Dakota Blackburn says, do you think if Neil Brown doesn't win 8 to 9 games at West Virginia, he's going to be gone after this year?
I don't think after this year, but the seat will be super duper, super hot for next year. Because again, you have JT Daniels coming in, which, by the way, I'm looking at that Kansas spread. Minus 13.5 at home, coming off a tough game against a Pitt team. Look, Kansas, I know they've got to be better, than they were last year, even though they did beat Texas. I'll give them credit. But that much better? Mm-hmm. Like, 2 touchdowns?
I don't know. I watched the entire game of receivers dropping passes. So
yeah, well, I mean, Kansas, right now in football, can click their heels together and go winless. That's what happens.
Kansas always just sneaks up on somebody.
So
and
that
it's always
one game.
Texas. But maybe
that one game.
Yeah.
Little Giants.
All right, Devin21 wants to know, which game are we most looking forward to this weekend?
We were talking about that.
Yeah, we're going to have a full breakdown, obviously, tomorrow of the weekend slate. It's Texas, Bama, I don't think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a destruction. I'm looking forward to Mississippi State, Arizona. Mm-hmm. Arizona looks like they're really on the come up after week 1.
That
going
Tennessee
to
Pitt matchup, boy.
Tennessee,
Tennessee matching of styles, the different styles. Tennessee going super duper fast. And then Pittsburgh, now that Mark Whipple's gone, going somewhat slower, more methodical, run to pass. I love it. I'm just absolutely in love with that under right now. I may take it today and go ahead and lock in my 5th of 6 bets. Been a lot of early sharps, fellas. A lot of early sharps.
Baylor at BYU.
BYU's favored in that game.
I know. I like BYU in that game. I took a minus 2.5 yesterday on the alternate line.
Oregon State at Fresno State.
Going to find out more about Oregon State.
Find out more.
Boise really well. Fresno, a team that, I tell you what, not only this game, if Fresno wins this one, then guess who Fresno has, I believe, next week? At USC.
And speaking about them, USC at Stanford.
I mean, you're struggling with Colgate.
But we're going to find out a little more, though, at least.
I haven't struggled with Colgate since the last time I forgot where I put my bathroom bag.
I think Kentucky, Florida is obviously one we're going to break down tomorrow.
Yeah. We're going to dive deep.
We're going to hit all these games tomorrow because even the App State, Texas A&M.
Look, it's a good slate tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a really good slate. Obviously, it's early in the season, but we got some football tonight, Combs.
Yeah. We got a little NFL kickoff. Bills, Rams.
Finally,
do you guys think, huh?
Wayne, you go. Let's go,
guys. What a day! What a day! NFL's coming out. New 2K is coming out. It's a big day for the entire squad. Only I know is this: Cooper Kupp. I need at least 10, 12 receptions at halftime. Let's go ahead and get an early touchdown, and let's finish off the second half. The more I look at this game, I don't know. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl, but still, man, Aaron Donald's a problem. He is a problem. If there's one guy who can stop Josh Allen, I went back yesterday and watched Aaron Donald's highlights of Pittsburgh, and it's disgusting.
Oh, what he does.
It was disgusting. I'm like, he's tackling quarterbacks and running backs on zone reads.
Yeah.
Just tackling both of them. It's like, hey, you just know. But, the secondary is going to be the biggest question to me for the Bills. How do you handle Cooper Kupp? How do you handle Allen Robinson? Cam Akers, I want to see he's coming back healthy this year. Stafford said he's okay. So, I like the over in this game, but I think at the end of the day, I'm going to put my eggs in the Josh Allen basket.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do. So I think the Bills are going to win this game, but I think it will be high scoring. I think this will be a 27-24, maybe 24-31 type of game, but I think there's going to be fireworks. That's what you need from your first NFL game.
Yeah, when I look at this, looking at the Bills first, obviously we know Josh Allen's probably the best quarterback in the world right now. You can make that argument.
For sure.
Has a great chance to win MVP. While we know he is physical in the run game, and Josh Allen's worked on his craft during the offseason, he's tried to change his throwing mechanics a little bit to help him when he's improvising and moving outside of the pocket to be more accurate. I think the Bills' run game has to be balanced to help out Josh. We know what the Rams have in the secondary. We know what Aaron Donald is up front and what the Rams are up front. You beat, not superior talent, but you beat very talented guys with balance. It can't just be Josh Allen has to take off. Josh Allen has to run the draw. Josh Allen has to throw us to a win. He's going to want to do all these things. But with the backs that they have, having James Cook, interested to see him with the Bills, how they use him in the passing game, with Aaron Donald causing problems in the middle, not only from a run-stopping standpoint, but from a pass-rushing standpoint, which is what makes him the most dangerous. He can do both. And from the interior, you can collapse the pocket a lot quicker than you can on the outside. Will they use modified runs? Will they use short passes to get in 2nd and 6? Josh Allen can come through in the clutch. I know he's elite, but I feel like they need that run game around him to take a little bit of the hits off of him that Josh Allen's going to take, because he's going to stay in that pocket, have guys hanging on him while he's making the throws similar to Roethlisberger. He's going to take off and try and hit these big runs, especially on 3rd down and long. It's a weapon. But the run game, I think, is huge for the Bills. Defensively, obviously, the Bills adding Von Miller, which if Von Miller wins one with the Bills, we really got to start talking about best defensive end ever. I'm just telling you guys. You watch the way he plays. You watch the way that he operates. I mean, the dude, literally, if you watch the film, will be smiling after he beats guys mid-move, like almost laughing at him. I think he's that talented. Mm-hmm. Then I look on the side of the Rams. I still am a little worried about Stafford's elbow, okay? This is a guy that is an elite thrower of the ball because he can put ball. He's unbelievable arm strength. Going all the way back to Georgia since he was a freshman. The dude has an absolute RPG attached to his shoulder. What makes him elite is not his ability to scramble for the big play. He's more athletic than I think what people give him credit for. But Matt Stafford has always been able to fit that whole shot in cover 2. And that gunslinger mentality on the red zone. Not afraid to pump the fastball in at the top high shelf at the corner of the end zone. That's changing platforms. Being able to drop down, the no-look passes. If there's any inkling that his elbow hurts, because when your elbow hurts, it obviously affects your arm strength. It's not just on your bicep. That can take a lot off the fastball. That's why you'd much rather have an injury to a pitcher up in the bicep than you would in the elbow, because structurally, it's just the way it works. If Matt Stafford isn't able to make those throws down the field, and Von Miller and those guys are able to pin their ears back, and you see the Rams not able to take advantage of when the Bills get in cover 2 and Matt knows what they're doing, that's when I think the Rams could be in trouble on offense. But I agree with Blaine. I think it's high scoring. To me, 27-24 isn't high scoring, though. The over's at 52. Mm-hmm. I think this game could be a 38-34 type, 38-31 type game.
Yeah, let's hope
where you see a lot of points. I mean, look, I know OBJ's gone, but the Rams went out and signed Allen Robinson. That's no slouch with losing OBJ. You mentioned Cam Akers. Whitworth, another interesting thing to see here. Andrew Whitworth is no longer playing in the NFL. So the Bills have an elite defensive end they've added, and the Rams lost an elite tackle. Not saying the Rams aren't good up front, and they're not serviceable enough to win. But I laugh at all the people who are like, oh, look at the Rams. They have a chip on their shoulder. The disrespect, they're not the favorite. They just won the Super Bowl, man. Like, they just won the Super Bowl. I don't believe the chip on the shoulder argument after winning the Super Bowl. I don't believe that. But Sean McVay and them, they are pretty good in openers. I think they're 5-0 against the spread with McVay, so that trend kind of scares you. But I like the Bills tonight.
To your Stafford point, I think Matt Stafford is the Iron Man of our generation. So I just maybe I'm just being optimistic because I drafted him in our league, but I feel like he's going to show up to play, and that it's never been a physicality issue. Also, big props to the NFL for scheduling this as our first game.
Yeah.
Like this is a great opening game. Now they'll probably figure out a way to mess it up, like you have to have ordered an Amazon package in the last 3 days to watch it or something like that. But this is a great opening game. Look, the Bills are my favorite to win the Super Bowl. I guess they're the odds-on favorite now, so that doesn't mean quite as much. Even though the Bills haven't won a Super Bowl, they haven't proven they have a championship mentality. So it's still, saying I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl is still quite a statement. My second favorite, honestly, like we broke down the odds yesterday, are the Rams to go back-to-back because they still have all the pieces, and Sean McVay is still an offensive genius. My question that I have right now is, will there be any complacency? I know you're talking about the chip on the shoulder. Something does change after you're world champs. So let's see what happens. They did go out. They had a sense of urgency in re-signing Aaron Donald. Smart. Yeah, when you have the best defensive player in the game. Let's see if they have any sort of complacency at all, or if they play with a sense of urgency. Because while I think the Bills can win the Super Bowl this year, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about a Rams cover when you take the plus points tonight.
Yeah, you'll see my bet. I used a little alternate line to kind of juice it up a little bit.
Like 3.5 field goal, more than a field goal? Or are you going to get to it?
I'm going to get to it.
It's a surprise.
I mean, it's literally right behind you, but I'm gonna get to it.
That's too much work.
Yeah, that is. Blaine, Booster Club, what are you thinking over here?
Let's see here. All right, Mike RFF Lifestyle wants to know, local question for us. Where's your favorite place to watch football? Home with friends, bar, or tailgate?
Well, home with friends now. Now they got the TV set up in the Wi-Fi. I mean, I was, living like Leo DiCaprio in The Revenant, trying to, having to go to places. And listen, like I'm all for, I love going to sports bars. It's fun to watch games. But when I watch games the way I watch them, obviously because it's work, I will tell you, it is great to be able to look at your significant other while you're watching the game and be like, honey, can you please stop talking? I'm working, and that's watching college football. And it's true. That is a power I can't even begin to explain to you guys. But going to a sports bar, love people. I'm a people person, always been a people person. But nothing drives me crazier, because when I'm watching the game, I am watching the game. Okay, I'm focused on the game, and then I'll flip to another game. But when people try and talk to me about stuff because they don't realize how I'm watching the game, because they don't know me, and then they try and talk to me about stuff in their life. Like, I'll give you an example. Having to go watch one of the baseball Braves game, okay? Because we didn't have Wi-Fi at the house. We were waiting for it to get set up. Go to a sports bar. This is to win the month the other day. This was that game, okay? Coming down, it's tight.
If the Braves lose,
the Braves lose, I'd lose the month. If the Braves win, I win the month. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching the Braves, and it's the 8th inning. And this guy comes and sits down next to me, and he's telling me about this drone that he bought. And he's super excited. Old man, probably 60, and I don't want to be rude. I'm like, cool. He's like, hey, watch this video of it.
Hold on, how about you be you? I want to be him real quick.
Okay.
Hey, man, nice to meet you. I got this new drone. It flies around and takes pictures. I have a video.
I'm gonna kill you if you don't stop. No, legitimately, I looked at it and I was like, man, that's so cool. But I said it in a way where you could tell I didn't think it was cool.
That's so cool. Go tell him.
Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. That guy looks like he loves drones over there. But he's like, hey, look at this video of it. I'm like, yeah, man, that's super sweet. As I'm watching Kenley Jansen, the Braves are up 3-0, gives up a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the ninth to make it 3-2. He's like, look, he can even take videos over water. I want to be like, shut up! Please!
That's why you can't go out in the elements, man. Look, luckily for me, my wife loves college football as much or more than I do. Got lucky on that one. But we have a nice system. You guys know. You guys come over. There's usually a buffalo chicken dip involved. There's usually on the right side the mini pigs in the blanket.
She gets it, too.
She gets it.
How many times has Darby ever came and they'd be like, hey, guys, look at this drone I got? Never.
No, never. Not once.
She knows.
She's like, look, Alabama's still covering and up by 50, but they're not playing good enough, and their special teams need to be better. That's why Alabama wins all the time. Even their fans are invested in perfection.
Yes, even the women care about special teams. That's how you know it's real. Maybe I should start giving a seminar on sports bar etiquette. Like, if you see somebody, it's like if you see somebody at a sports bar that is very tuned in to a game, that is not wearing some school colors or clothes of one of those teams, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, they've probably bet on the game. All right, if you're watching, you look up there and you've got it's like San Jose State versus Utah State, and they're hanging by a moment on it, don't talk to them about drones. Don't ask them about anything. Stay away from them. Because I know that feeling, and you guys know that feeling, especially the degenerates.
Only 2 words you should say to them is good luck.
Yes, good luck. I hope it goes good for you.
I'm one of those guys.
Who you got, or what you got.
I'm at the house. I got 4 screens in front of me. All right, whether it's a Saturday, I only need 1 screen on a Sunday. All right, red zone. That's all I need.
Shout out Scott Hansen.
Yeah, I got 4 screens in front of me on a Saturday before 11 o'clock. The lights are off. A nice cold beverage in my hand. Maybe open the doors real quick and hear the fountains going into the pool. Relax. But once that 11 o'clock hits, boom, it's a TV, it's a monitor, it's a laptop, and it's my phone.
Yeah, well, I've got it down to a science now where I don't even look at my phone in my beds anymore. I write them down in my notebook so I can just look down, because the time it takes for me to look at my phone, open it, put the code in, go to my pictures, look at the picture of the bets that I'm taking, or get on the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. You get $200 on your first $5 bet. You're welcome. That takes too much time. I've missed 2 plays.
Yeah, you missed 2 plays?
I've missed 2 plays.
Unacceptable.
Especially if I'm watching Tennessee, I miss 8 plays. They're on offense. Missed the whole first half, really.
I know you want to break down our fantasy teams. and let the Booster Club vote on him. But first, I did want to say a guy I used to get in fantasy a lot, Emmanuel Sanders, retired.
Yeah, great career.
How many seasons was it?
Yeah, great career.
12 seasons, 6 with the Broncos, I think.
Yeah.
2-time Pro Bowler, great player.
Also, speaking of receivers that aren't, they're retired, Larry Fitzgerald going to join Monday Night Football. Really excited about that.
Wow.
For sure. University of Phoenix grad, fly high. Let's get it.
Loved Emmanuel Sanders, man, throughout his career. One of my favorite.
Great fantasy player, too.
One of my favorite receivers to watch. Not a huge guy, but just the way he could predict where a ball is. He'd always go get his highest point. Great route runner in and out of breaks. He could run any route. And just really a true stand-up guy. Never got any trouble or anything like that. Emmanuel Sanders had a career that a lot of young guys could look at and man, I really wanted.
For sure. Made a lot of money, too. Speaking about making a lot of money, what's the Booster Club saying?
All right, Mike RFF Lifestyle says the Bills' run game has to be better in order to take pressure off of Josh Allen. Emmanuel C says Devin Singletary is a good back, so I would like to see him carry more of the load.
Yeah, they're going to disperse it. I mean, the running back room, again, I'm so interested to see James Cook. What you'll see out of James Cook tonight, I think a lot. He'll line up in the backfield. They'll motion him out to make it empty and 5 wide. They'll use him in the screen game. They'll use him in the pick game down at the red zone. May motion him back, use him for the jet sweep, or motion him back, be able to run, or set up, go empty, quarterback draw, especially if they're playing 2-man, which you will stunt the front. But you get past the stunt, then you'll be stunting like your daddy.
All right, Texas Ed. RPO screens are 70% of the run playbook in the NFL in 2023.
It's made its way. I mean, it's infiltrated the NFL. It's like member berries.
And as soon as it catches on, it'll be changed again.
That's exactly right.
Running downhill power, fullback ISO.
Option, wing T.
Maybe. That'd be a bit extreme.
Dude, 15 years from now, we'd be running wing T. Everybody would be like, God, what if we line up all the running backs in the backfield? We do a bunch of influences. We run trap, do stuff like that. We'd be like, that'd be brilliant. Like, instead of all this spread stuff, why are we throwing it around, stopping the clock? Let's go back to old school. Yeah. Run it. I'm telling you, it's cyclical. Football.
All right. Nolik Alwyn says, I came across the channel a few days ago, so can someone help me with a question? I saw these guys on the draft show with Daily Wire. Is this show affiliated with the Daily Wire? If so, that makes me happy.
Oh, boy.
Yes. We are the sports show for the Daily Wire. So by affiliation, yes. And they're the ones who sign our checks. So yes, again. Welcome to it. Welcome home. Welcome to the Booster Club. What's his username?
It was Nolik Allwalk.
Nolik Allwalk.
Welcome home.
Nice.
All right, Carson Everett says, football is religion. That's why us Bama fans wear our Sunday best when we watch Pastor Saban giving a sermon about the process of the gridiron.
Yes.
We have lost a little bit here in terms of the attire on game day. Seeing these kids out here in short shorts and tank tops and stuff, no. They're not about it.
You were not even to your get off.
We're complaining about short shorts.
Actually, now that I'm making a get off my lawn list, there's plenty of weeks in football season.
Like short shirt. You're talking about the attire of the men, the males.
Everybody, have some class. You
don't like short
guys are wearing short shorts and tank tops at Bama.
I've seen it.
I'm not surprised.
Mostly more in.
I am not.
No, I'm talking about Bama gets it right. I'm not talking about them. That's what
you talking about. Shorts?
He said that's what he gets it. They dress up for the
Bama
game.
fans just fell off a little bit.
No. I'm talking about the other teams. They're the ones still dressing up. They get it. They're wearing polos, collared shirts.
What other teams you see?
Not going shirtless. Mostly in Gainesville, I think.
Okay. Wow. Well, that's Florida.
Yeah. Look, they don't give you a driver's license unless you wear jorts at least half the week.
In Crocs.
All right, Marvelous Marvin says, how do you chat, Daily Wire chat, how do you get the highest subscription?
Look, that's a... use code BOOSTER.
Yeah, and then I'll hit this.
Code BOOSTER, B-O-O. That's exactly right. B-O-O-S-T-E-R. There you go. How about that?
All right, Colleen Houston says, I'm very thankful Notre Dame doesn't dress up for games, especially for those colder weather games.
What do they do? What do they do at Notre Dame? What are they just wearing?
Bundle up.
Just wearing sweaters and...
Yeah. They're coming out there they're wearing the Pope's hat. Isn't that what they do?
You tell me. I
don't know, Cone.
I couldn't see him up that high.
You were a lot closer.
The only thing I remember when we went to play Notre Dame at Notre Dame was everyone talking about the grass.
How tall it was?
The grass is so tall here because
their
players are slower, so they want to slow players down. I'm like, no, they're still really good.
That's not how that works.
They're still really good.
They're still going to be as fast. We're going to be just as
I remember when we went and played Northern Western Tech of the Southern West
Western Tech.
The Deaf and Blind. They ended up losing by 10. They actually didn't know how to get to the
saw
field.
them coming.
Yeah, they didn't see it coming either. And they still won. How bad we were. That's why, when you're in the street, you pass the schools, school for the blind. I was like, did anybody ever find it?
It's tough. Once you do this,
did anybody ever find it?
That's your schooling.
Well, the School of the Deaf. Did anybody ever hear where it was?
No, but they could find it. But if you're blind, well, I mean, what are you going to tell them? Like, you're going to tell them directions?
Don't sleep on.
You're going to tell them you go up to 2.
You know we have technology now.
Yeah, I know. It's a joke. God, what's going on with you?
I don't know.
You just can't take it. Like, I can't make a joke.
You know,
you just can't even make a joke anymore, man.
It's Thursday.
Is it the hair? The hair changed you.
No,
the hair changed you.
What?
The hair changed you.
No, it didn't. It's still me.
No, I don't know if it is.
Still me.
I'm still me.
It's still me. I'm really the Green Hawk.
Bonus
the funniest thing
segment.
about that commercial is when they bring in the bag of food.
Yeah, that is.
I'll bring it to them.
Yeah.
All right. Malcolm Martin says, has anyone been to an Army-Navy game?
We played in Annapolis against Navy. One of the coolest experiences, that I had. It was like hazy on the field. They came out. They were in their, their Navy attire. Then they went back in, got dressed. It was just I'd tell you a funny story about playing at Navy. You want to hear a funny story?
Hit me.
So we're warming up, kicking field goals. I'm pretty sure it was at Navy. That there was like a hill in the back of one of the end zones where the kids were like catching balls and running around and stuff like that. And so we're warming up before the game. I was coaching the special teams, so I had the kickers and long snappers and returners out there. And so we had multiple kickers. So the kids are running around like catching the balls. So one of our kickers kicks it, and one of these little kids is probably 7, 8 years old, is like running after it, like up this hill with his back turned. Well, our other kicker kicked it right after Aleem had kicked it. And so I'm watching. If you watch kicks long enough and punts, you can track. You have a good idea where it's like. So I'm watching this little kid run up this hill, and this ball, it almost looks like it was like locked into him. Like it was like a heat seeker.
Like a heat-seeking missile?
And like it got closer and closer, and like as the ball gets closer, like time slows down and you start to like grab each other because you're like, what's going to happen? So no joke, this kid's running after the first one. The first ball bounces, he's got his back turned, and the second one just smacks him right in the back of the head. He just eats the ground like instantly. The ball's coming down with some force. It wasn't a huge kid. And we're like, oh no, I hope he's okay. We turn around and his face is just like covered in blood.
Blood?
Yes. I guess when he had hit the hill, like a tooth had gone through his lip.
Oh.
He was bleeding everywhere, but that's not the worst one. We're playing at Ladd, Peebles down in Mobile, and they have the section for the people in like wheelchairs for some reason, like halfway up, like where most of the balls land without a net. So we're warming up before we play. I can't even remember who we're playing. It may have been Mississippi State. We're warming up before we're playing, and this sweet old lady was in like one of those, robotic chairs. I don't know what you call them, like the Stephen Hawking's, whatever. And her husband was there. They're probably in their 80s. And so Aleem, once again, we're warming up with field goals, and these people are down like an hour before the game, 45 minutes, an hour before the game. They're already sitting down. So I'm like, this is a problem, but we still got to warm up. Aleem hits a ball, Cone, no joke, I promise. Hits a ball. This lady's not even paying attention. I think she's asleep. And it was like I said, one of those chairs where like you got like your right hand on the joystick and you can like turn it around. Well, her husband sees the balls like coming close to her, and he's like 80-something years old. So, I mean, this dude hadn't probably caught a pass that mattered since, before World War II. So, like, he reaches out to try and catch it, and it goes right through his hands and hits this poor old lady in the head and, like, waked her up and scared her. So she hit the joystick, and the chair started spinning. It was literally like you like,
that's a
prize.
movie.
Yeah, I swear. It's like an arcade game. I almost wrote a book about it.
I have not been to Army-Navy game, but I did go to a pep rally. West Point Army pep rally. I was producing a video. I was producing a video for Coca-Cola at West Point. I had to drive there from the city, after you land in I don't know if I flew into JFK or where, but Jeff Monken was the coach at Army.
Yep.
After he had been at Georgia Southern.
Yep.
Right. And they had this ship that they built that was like sinking to represent Navy, and they set it on fire. They set it on fire.
That's a different rivalry.
Oh yeah.
That's a different.
But I haven't been to the game. Have you, Blaine?
No, I haven't. I bet it's sweet. It's one of the favorite pre-games to watch.
Yeah. I love they play that game after all the other
There's
ones.
nothing like watching a game, especially before a football game, that they're just celebrating America.
Yeah, there's something about that.
I'm a big let's celebrate America and then play football time.
I am too. Mm-hmm. Drink beer through a hot dog straw too.
Pass on that.
You pass on that?
You already did that. Dude.
You already
did that once in my life.
That's part of your life now.
Once too many.
People don't forget.
I've tried very hard to forget that over the last
I haven't. I've remembered everything that you did that day from start to finish. Blaine, what else?
Well, now the suits are kind of messed up. Let's go. Mike, RFF, come up with some questions today. Love to see it.
Yeah, Blaine, go ahead.
Well, I just read people who ask questions. So.
Go ahead.
We should have a head-to-head on defending your Super Bowl predictions.
I mean, look, I feel good about it. I mean, I feel like I've said all I needed to say. Like you said that, John Mayer, say what you need to say. I've said what I needed to say and more. It's the Chargers. It's what it's going to be. It ain't a guess.
Vicky Valancourt.
Yeah, it's what it's going to be.
Cubs Shocky 9 says, thoughts on Mel Tucker and Michigan State football?
Got to see more. I wasn't super duper impressed, but you did get the win. Peyton Thorne struggled a little bit to me. I'm wondering if they're going to cover this weekend. That's the real question with Michigan State. With Mel Tucker, obviously he understands it. He gets it. Michigan State's getting more athletic by the day when you see the way that they're recruiting. I just wonder how explosive they are on offense this year. Because last year, I mean, we know you had Kenneth Walker. That was huge. And now you've lost him. And not saying they have bad players on offense, but I don't look at Michigan State on offense. I'm like, wow, I tell you what, these guys can really hit the home run consistently. Now, they had a lot of success against Michigan Cone. We know that. Not over here trying to start that fire again. But at the end of the day, does Michigan State have the cats to be able to score enough points to take that next step? I mean, look, you're in the Big Ten East, okay? It's a fist fight. You're going to have to fight for your right to not only party, but survive out of that division. So I like the direction of Michigan State. I just don't think they're explosive enough this year.
J-Mac volunteered. Who will be the next Bama assistant to win a natty?
As a head coach somewhere? Man, it's a good question. I think Bill O'Brien's going to end up being the next coach at Bama. That doesn't mean that he won't leave. I wonder when Pete goes. When's Pete Golding going to go? Now, you just had the DUI this past off season, which,
allegedly.
But if I'm looking at assistant, Charles Huff at Marshall, no. I'm thinking guys that are on the staff right now, but former guys, give me Mario Cristobal. Talking about new, Kirby just won one. Jimbo, and then, Jim.
I think Kirby Smart.
Jimbo's won one, though, at Florida State. He's already won one.
Kirby Smart's going to win another one before any of those guys.
I think that's what the money would be on. But I think if we're going to pick somebody who hasn't won one as a head coach, I think Mario Cristobal's a good one. I don't think Lane's going to win one at Ole Miss. It's a great fit. Love the fit. But I don't think that's how it's going to work.
All right, let's go to Timothy Tordoff. Have you guys talked Florida, Kentucky yet?
We're going to break that down a ton tomorrow. I may ask John Parker Wilson about it. Kind of a quick overview on that. The Kentucky game, and I've said this all week, when you look at the final scores, sometimes it can be a little bit deceptive. That was a game, and I know they got little Gabbard over there at Miami, Ohio, the Red Hogs fighting the Green Hogs for who's going to protect the city. When I look at Kentucky, you had the pick six for a touchdown. You had the kickoff return for a touchdown that created space. But I will continue to say, like I said before the season, when a lot of people are like, Kentucky's going to win 10 games and finish second in the East, losing Wan'Dale Robinson hurts a lot more than what people are giving credit for. Like they're people are acting like, yes, Wan'Dale was a great player, but you've still got all these weapons that are as explosive. Wan'Dale was the fixer, man. Like Wan'Dale was 100% the fixer. When they needed to play, it was Wan'Dale or it was Will Levis, running the ball or improvising. Yes, C-Rod had a couple big runs here and there, but it was Wan'Dale Robinson that was making them go. Without Wan'Dale, I don't see this offense being as explosive as it was last year, and you're going down to play a Florida team that is unbelievably competent. Billy Napier, who got absolutely crapped on all offseason for recruiting, and people saying he couldn't do it. Why did you bring guys that were your coaches with you at ULL? Well, it obviously worked out, and having Anthony Richardson helps. So do we really know 100% about Billy Napier in the long run? No, we don't. Did I say it was the sneakiest hire in the offseason? Yes. Anthony Richardson hides a lot of problems against Kentucky. I don't think they can stop Anthony Richardson enough and score enough points on offense playing the way they did last week, because the other Robinson kid, T. Robinson's a heck of a player, but he's not Wan'Dale. You don't have those weapons. I don't think they go down there, and I think Florida wins by at least a touchdown. I know the spread's I think it's all the way up to 6 now. It started out 3.5, 4.5, somewhere around there. I locked it in. I got to look back. I locked it in yesterday. I haven't tweeted about it, but I like Florida, and I may like them big, to be honest with you.
Well, we'll break it down more tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.
Want to do these fantasy teams?
Yes, I do want to say this. I want to get to the break real quick and come back and do the fantasy teams. Last night, we had our first ever Daily Wire fantasy football draft. That included Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Andrew Clavin, Morning Wild's John Bickley, and yours truly, all three of us. So go to our YouTube channel, or dailywire.com, to check it out, because you don't want to miss it. Now, if you want to watch or listen to the rest of the show, you can listen to it here if you want to stay. But if you want to watch it, or if you want to go watch the draft, go to the Daily Wire Plus, become a member, listen on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, share it with all your friends. We've got Get Off Our Lawn coming up next. We reveal our fantasy teams and why there is no chance I will have to do the punishment of sitting courtside at a WNBA game. Ew, gross. We'll be right back. Typically, every Wednesday, our 6'7", 70-year-old trapped in a 34-year-old's body tells us somebody to get off his lawn. Well, again, depending on what calendar you're looking at, today is Thursday. We pushed it back a day for a couple reasons that you'll never know. But David, who are you screaming at from your human-built tower over there?
Today, I am telling celebrity guest picker Jack Harlow to get off my lawn.
Get off.
If you're watching this show, there's a great chance that College GameDay has been must-see TV for you over the past few decades, and for good reason. Essentially, it serves as our weekly appetizer on college football Saturdays. Corso's headgear pick is iconic. David Pollack is probably our favorite guest to have on this show, and the celebrity pickers are usually top tier. That was until this past Saturday, when guest picker Jack Harlow was a bigger failure than my algebra grades. Now, in full disclosure, I had no idea who Jack Harlow was until our boy Brad reliably informed me that Mr. Harlow is a rapper, which is fitting since all I was thinking while he was on game day was, please wrap this up. Now, I will not make any jokes about there being no celebrity options just because the game took place in Ohio. My mother is from Columbus, and shame on you Michigan fans for thinking I would stoop so low, even though I encourage y'all to do so. Now, I hope Jack is a talented artist with many hit raps, because I see no future for him in sports broadcasting. Picking LSU only because you hung out with Joe Burrow the night before, even though that is pretty cool, is the same strategy as the guy in your fantasy league who picks Lamar Jackson with the first pick just because he's a Ravens fan. Oh, wait, Matt Walsh did that last night, didn't he? I'm kidding, Matt Walsh, okay? He spoke to me this week, so we're basically best friends.
You guys are.
But back to the matter at hand. After this disaster of a celebrity guest picker, I have no choice but to call on College GameDay to get the Crane and Company crew on the show to see who really knows football. And don't make any excuses about there being three of us, because I know there's plenty of room on the Wheels Up jet. So send the plane, pick us up this weekend. All right, let's really dive into week 2 and stay off my lawn with the lame guest pickers.
I love it, Cone. I love it.
Yeah, Coney.
What happened to having the game day pickers that were all fired up? No wonder y'all had to go get Pat McAfee yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, that was so lame with Jack Harlow. Do I think Jack Harlow's a lame person? Probably not.
Who
but
is
that
he?
just wasn't a good mix. He's a rapper, Cone.
He has a lot of hit raps.
Hit raps. I love how you put that. A bunch of hit raps. like he's selling burritos and something out of a truck.
Blaine, who is this guy?
Jack Harlow?
Yeah, Blaine loves him.
Okay, no, I wouldn't say loves him, but I mean, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah?
What's your favorite Jack Harlow song? And why is it Churchill?
I feel like I'm missing one that got pretty big.
Churchill Downs goes pretty hard on
with Drake, yeah, it's pretty good.
Tyler Hero's pretty good.
Nail Tech's pretty good. I like Nail Tech a lot. I would probably say that and Way Out with Big Sean. Pretty solid.
Gotcha.
I mean, mediocre white rapper. So, I mean, it's nothing like...
What did you think about his guest appearance on Game Day?
To be honest with you, I watched probably 10 seconds of it, then turned it off.
Well, I thought the performance, he got up there, he's like, hey guys, L-A-N. It was just like, there was no juice. Like, give me Big and Rich up there. Give me Big and Rich.
Yeah.
I want to get hyped up. I don't want to watch Jack Harlow sing like an R&B song. You know, it's something
he's an Ohio kid, isn't he?
No, he's from Louisville, Kentucky.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I was like...
Why are you... I mean, there's so many other people in Ohio that you could pick.
Are there?
Easy. Yeah, there is.
Is there?
Yeah, there is, Cone. Ohio's the Alabama of the Northeast.
Wow. Is that okay?
Good athletics.
Okay.
And stuff. And other things as well.
I told you I will not stoop so low.
No,
you
want. Look, I'll call you Bob
options.
Stoops the way you're stooped so low.
Okay.
You want to go over these fantasy teams?
We have to.
Let's do it.
We have to tell.
All right. You know what? Pull up. Here's my team. You know what it's called? Sorry for your loss. Because when you wake up after playing me the next day, do I feel sorry for you? No. But deep down, I want you to think that. So here's what we're going over. Quarterback Kyler Murray, dual threat guy. A lot of people talked about his not wanting to watch film. I think he flips the script this year. The Ewok's going to be running around. You get D-Hop back after week 6. I do like the weapons. Let's figure it out. Then 2 running backs. Wow, this is hilarious. Derrick Henry, thanks. People say, oh, Derrick Henry needs to stay healthy. He got hurt one time and still ran for a ridiculous amount of yards. He'll be fine. He's filled with adamantium, and he's going to be just fine. Aaron Jones for the Packers. One of the few outlets that Aaron Rodgers has other than ayahuasca and Blue from Earth. I love that. Yeah, Alan Lazard out there, not the biggest weapon ever. You don't have Devontae running around anymore. So what do? Aaron Jones out of the backfield running the ball and catching the ball. Get in the red zone. Do our best James White impression. Then Deebo Samuel. Let's all laugh together. You got a young quarterback, Trey Lance. Hell, Deebo probably played quarterback, running back, sell hot dogs at halftime, and make a new Madden engine that actually worked and isn't trash. So they're going to have to get Deebo super duper involved. They re-signed him after he almost left, which means even more touches. I'm in love with the money. Let's get it. Then Jalen Waddle. Everybody's talking about Tyreek Hill. Will Jalen start for me? I don't know. We'll get to the bench in a second. But Tyreek Hill is going to get double covered a lot. He's going to be covered more than a State Farm commercial. Give me Jalen Waddle, especially in the red zone, can hit the home run and on special teams. Travis Kelce. Geez, Kelce. What happened there? Like Lou Holtz. Travis Kelce, you got to have a great tight end. What did I do? I went and got the best one. No more Tyreek in Kansas City. Juju Smith-Schuster, who's already on my bench. We know who the security blanket really is. There's a fire, wrap Travis Kelce around you. You don't even have to hit the ground and roll. Then, y'all already know what's up. My big dog Sutton from the Broncos. We know Russell. Judy has some injury problems. There's been some other injury problems. Look at Tim Patrick. But give me Sutton. Give me Cortland out wide, doing his thing. Russell, great chemistry. Breaking Bad, Walter White style. Let's figure it out. Then Evan McPherson. Did somebody say the new Justin Tucker? I mean, dude's got. Oh, we'll see. We'll see after he racks up more points this year. I took the Commanders defense because they're playing the Jaguars week 1. Probably just going to flex who's ever playing the Jaguars because I love Trevor Lawrence. I don't believe in what they have around him. Real quickly on the bench, Antonio Gibson. Great to see Brian Robinson's feeling better, but he's going to get a ton of carries. Adam Thielen, Haru, the great white ninja there in Minnesota. Is it snowing? Where is he? There's a catch. There's a touchdown. Him and Kirk need to recreate that. Like I said, Juju Smith-Schuster for the Chiefs. Elijah Moore, Joe Flacco, can't run. Don't worry about it. Get it out to Elijah Moore. Shout out to Ole Miss. It just means more. Then you need a good backup tight end. Maybe some trade bait. TJ Hawkinson. Come on, guys. 2 top 5 tight ends. Look at those backs. Kyler Murray doing his thing. The receiver room is deeper than the Pacific Ocean. How are you guys going to even get close?
Yeah, well, I'll show you. Bring mine up, please.
Yeah.
I don't know if Hawkins is a top 5 tight end.
He's not.
He's top 5
He had a bad last year.
He's top 5 tight end.
All right.
Ranked 4th overall, so that's all.
Matt Stafford, number 1. Hey, let's throw for 5,000 yards. Let's offset Blaine's Cooper Cup pick a little bit. Let's bring that interception count down. We're in a full PPR league, so Austin Eckler, maybe catch another 70 passes, maybe score 20 touchdowns. I don't know, 1,500 combined rushing and receiving yards. That'd be awesome. To offset that, Nick Chubb. Look, I wasn't really seeking to go after Nick Chubb, but when he falls to me in the 3rd round, they have the number 1 offensive line. I'll take him. Also, number 1 wide receiver, Jamar Chase. This is the only reason I took him in the 2nd round was because he fell to that 10th pick, wrapping back around. I had every intention to take back-to-back running backs. I've done it in every mock. I've done it in the other leagues I'm in. But with Jamar Chase sitting there at 10, and I knew one of those backs would come back around, I went ahead and took him. Got CeeDee Lamb. A lot of questions there, but CeeDee Lamb has that number 1 overall wide receiver potential. Okay, but I backed him up with some other wideouts just in case.
Amari's gone now.
Yeah, just in case, that he doesn't.
Out week 1, too.
What'd you say?
Michael Gallup's out week 1.
Yeah, that is true. Kyle Pitts. Look, Blaine, we were talking about this a lot. The Falcons are not a great team. I like to draft good players on good teams rather than great players on bad teams. But at the tight end position, 1 through 5, there's an astronomical difference between 6 through 10.
For sure.
I feel like I do have a top 5 tight end right there in Kyle Pitts. I think he takes that next step forward because, look, the Falcons aren't going to win a lot of games, but he's the only big target there with Who's our boy that's
Marcus
suspended?
Mariota. He likes to feed the tight ends a lot.
Yeah, and too, when the play breaks down and Marcus gets outside, Kyle Pitts is athletic enough to work that scramble drill and really hurt you.
Exactly. So I don't know. I like that pick. I think I got it 5th round, which to me, like, he was getting picked up third and 4th. But after Knowles' team took Kittle in the 3rd round, and you had already taken Kelsey, I was like, man, there's not going to be a whole lot coming back. And Walsh had taken Mark Andrews. Yep. So I'm like, man, you got to make a play on Kyle Pitts right now. Travis Etienne's one of my biggest question marks. I don't know. I really think Jacksonville takes that next step up. Could Trevor Lawrence have that sort of second-year breakthrough that a Josh Allen had? If so, Travis Etienne's going to play a big part in that. If not, again, I feel like I've backed him up with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then the J.K. Dobbins, but we'll get to that in a second. Kicker defense, we need to spend much time on that. I did the same philosophy as you. The Eagles have a good defense, not the best one I could have drafted, but they have a great strength of schedule, and they open with the Lions. Yep. So give me my boy Brandon Graham. J.K. Dobbins is another one I have a big question mark about. I don't usually take running backs after they've come back off injury. But again, I feel like with Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, and Travis Etienne already over there, I could take a flyer on J.K. Dobbins, maybe trade him to Matt Walsh late if he really, really wants him. You know, I think the guy is still going to have a breakthrough year, and you can never go wrong drafting Buckeyes. That's what I always say. Mm-hmm. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like you were talking about with the Chiefs. I mean, they have to get the ball to playmakers.
Got some witch in
He's
him.
a playmaker.
Offensive line's better.
The Chiefs are Andy Reid offense. Give me Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then the biggest question mark I had in fantasy this season was Michael Thomas. You know, again, number 1 overall wide receiver potential. Hasn't done that last year or the year before, really.
Stay healthy.
But if he can stay healthy, which I know is always, famous last words, but Michael Thomas has that potential to be one of those first-round picks next year off the type of season that he has. Then Darnell Mooney, I mean, let's say Michael Thomas doesn't have a great year. We can cut him. Darnell Mooney's doing good. And then Devonta Smith, like we've been talking about, maybe he could be a top 3
go gadget arms.
Receiver. No, that's the team. That's the winning team.
It's a good team, Ken. It's a good
the
team.
Golden Leftist Tears Tumbler Fact Check True team.
I love it. Go ahead and pull mine up. All right, I'm going to take you through round by round of what I picked. God, mine is small. Jeez. Okay, so my first pick, I went receiver. I went with Cooper Kupp. I actually passed on Derrick Henry. Now, I was 50-50 on it, but I think Matt and Cooper are going to have a big year. Then my second pick was Alvin Kamara at running back. 99% sure he's getting cleared or not suspended until after the season. And you got to think the Saints played really good. Once Jameis got in there, got his eye surgery, his LASIK, started slinging the ball around. Alvin, first of all, great runner, can hit the big play, and also a big pass catcher out of the backfield. And then I went DeAndre Swift. Yeah. All right, I know he's with the Lions. The Lions were on Hard Knocks. They were talking about how good DeAndre Swift is. DeAndre Swift, only thing DeAndre is missing is kind of consistency week in and week out. But I feel like the Lions will probably take a little step this year. It'll be a little bit of a better team. And then I went Michael Pittman Jr., the number 1 receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. Did they bring over Matt Ryan? Michael Pittman, the only thing last year he did was get fed off play action. You know why? Because who's their running back? Jonathan Taylor. How good is their O-line? Phenomenal. So Michael Pittman will get fed. Then I took Keenan Allen. I mean, that's your Super Bowl champions right there. Justin Herbert, one of his favorite targets. Keenan Allen, the Cal grad, who's an absolute witch of the highest order, will do well. Then let's go to Darren Waller. What's question for this Week 1 game? And the tight ends, we're getting a little bit diced up. They're getting picked quickly. The thing with Darren Waller, you bring Devontae Adams over, okay, and that's going to take a couple possessions or receptions away from him, but they feed this man in the red zone. He's a phenomenal football player, so I still feel pretty good about that. And then I went Jalen Hurts. Jalen, I'm not asking you to win the Super Bowl. I'm not asking you to throw 300 yards a game. I'm just asking you to throw for 200-plus and run for 80 yards and a touchdown, run for a touchdown, throw for 2. That's fine. Jalen Hurts can do that. Jalen Hurts is probably a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Then I went Legatron, Daniel Carlson, who's an absolute monster. I try to get Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I'll just do a defense bi-weekly. And Chase Edmonds has been the running back for the Dolphins, who could be a little sneaky pick this year. I mean, he's projected 15 points Week 1. Dameon Pierce, the cowbell for the Texans. Marlon Mack is gone. They came out. He didn't play the last 2 preseason games, saying that they will be the guy. I think the Texans will have a better team this year with Davis Mills, so they'll take a step up. Then D-Hop. All right, D-Hop, you have to plan what is a guy for the second half of the season when you get to the playoffs that can put you over the top and win you a championship. And DeAndre Hopkins is that guy. Then we go to Chris Godwin. He's finally healthy. I mean, you look at the Bucs. I know you still got Mike Evans, But Chris Godwin has always been a stable pass catcher for them. And then Gabe Davis. Stephon Diggs came out, I believe, yesterday and said, if you're a fantasy owner, you need to draft Gabe Davis. And Stephon Diggs, I listened to you, so I drafted him.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and propose this now. When Darren Waller gets hurt, I will trade you T.J. Hawkinson for DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, I would say I just can't remember anybody on your team, so that's worth remembering.
You can't remember Kyler Murray or Derrick Henry or.
Well, I mean, sure, Kyler Murray. I mean, for the first 6 weeks, not going to have his best receiver, and I can't wait until he gets his best receiver. So then you're handcuffed. Derrick Henry.
I'm handcuffed.
Well, Derrick Henry. Let's make sure Derrick Henry stays healthy before we make fun of Darren Waller.
I can look at half your team. Alvin Kamara, let's just hope he doesn't get suspended.
He's not.
He may get suspended quicker than
if you kept up with the NFL, you know that.
I do keep up with the NFL.
Well, obviously not, because he's not getting suspended.
Well, looking at your team, you obviously don't keep up with the NFL.
I like the Dameon Pierce pick, man. I mean, I know the Texans aren't going to be great. That offensive line isn't awesome, but I like that flyer late on that.
Well, he just absolutely balled during the preseason, and he was running usually with ones the first couple drives and then take him out, and he looked good. So, kind of a sneaky pick. I wanted to take some guys that you really don't know, but they could break off. Really good.
You got to pick off, obviously, what you've seen and then a little bit of potential. But I tell you what has potential to be a really good interview is former Alabama quarterback John Parker Wilson. Good friend of ours. We're going to kick it to him in 1 second. I'm going to take one Booster Club question, Blaine, and I'm going to let them heat up for John Parker, too. Get ready to ask him, what do you got over there? What's cooking up in the kitchen?
Let's go. I just read my draft, so I have to actually read this. Devin21 says, I seriously know nothing about NFL, so I voted for Blaine in the poll because his team's going to win.
Well, see, I don't get that.
There's a lot of collusion.
You know what? I tell you what, it always makes me feel better when people that don't know anything about it.
I'm going to start curating the chat.
In what way? How was that collusion?
I'm going to start curating.
No, there is a lot of
collusion. How's that collusion, David?
There is a lot of collusion. I'm just waiting for James Clapper.
How long have you worked for CNN?
And all these other guys to just start, finding all this collusion.
Just false narratives out here.
Yeah.
Just false narratives.
All of a sudden, Blaine walks in with a Fusion Steel business card. Never,
Look, guys, turn your AC up to 80. It's not our fault. It's your fault.
All right, let's bring in former Alabama quarterback and prolific golfer, as we found out down there at the Senior Bowl, our good friend John Parker Wilson. JP Dub, what's up?
Guys, not much, man. How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. It's football season, so we're kicking it good over here.
Week 2, right? Or is this week 3? I don't know.
It's week 3, John Parker. There's no such thing as week 0. There's no such thing as patient 0. There's no such thing as pre-boarding on an airplane. You're the first people to board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why does it need to be said?
I don't know why we do this.
Let's bring a little bit of logic.
That's why English is the hardest language. We do this to ourselves.
See what you started, John Parker.
Anyways.
I'm right there with you, though. I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's the truth, though. It was good seeing you down at the Senior Bowl Charity Golf Classic. That was a lot of fun as well, man. You quarterbacks, y'all can really hit the golf ball pretty well.
Yeah, the problem with my golf game, though, is I can hit it really well, like 30% of the time. That's great in baseball, not so good in golf, though. So, this time of year, you kind of put the golf clubs up. We'll work on it for next year.
That's exactly right. A lot of mental. You get better on the mental here. That's how we work it. But your overall thoughts. I mean, obviously, going to ask you about Alabama. You watch Georgia absolutely just pants Oregon in front of everybody. What are kind of some overlying thoughts that you have going into this next weekend? Some things that you're intrigued storyline wise from last weekend.
Yeah, I thought it was, one of the biggest games of the week, Georgia versus Oregon, and then they just completely go out there and undress them. I mean, you score a touchdown every time you touch the ball. It's pretty impressive. The only time they didn't score was at the end when they put it on the knee. So for Stetson Bennett to go out there, catapult the way up the Heisman odds right now, just kind of picking up where he left off. I think it was a big question mark for them was Stetson Bennett going to be able to continue to improve and be the quarterback that, we kind of saw last year. And I think he answered a lot of questions. I think Alabama looked really good. Obviously, against Utah State was not the best opponent, but I think came out and kind of took care of business. And then, you got everybody else in the SEC with Arkansas and, Tennessee, Florida. Billy Napier had a great game against who they play, Utah. I mean, the SEC to me is shaping up to be a pretty crazy year.
Yeah, and speaking of Florida, and I mean, look, we look at Bryce Young, obviously NFL prospect, elite. C.J. Stroud has elite ability. I'm just looking at a guy like Anthony Richardson, John Parker. There's not a lot of Bryces out there walking around. There's not a lot of CJs, but there is sure as hell not a lot of Anthony Richardsons running around. If that guy can continue to improve, because he looks like a natural thrower of the ball to me, Jump Park. He doesn't look like a guy that's just out there, throwing the fastball on the swing pass 100 miles per hour. I feel like his potential is unbelievably elite.
No question. And I think that's the thing. As a quarterback, right, you've got to be able to throw different passes. You just can't throw a 98-mile fastball every single time. You've got to be able to throw the finesse pass, move in the pocket. He's got great size. So I think you're right. His passing ability is what's going to set him apart and what has improved, right? Last year, we played Florida down in the swamp. We didn't get to see him. He was injured, but this is a guy that's came in with a ton of hype. And I think, having a new coach and a new change of scenery helped him out a lot. I mean, that was a huge win for Florida.
Huge.
What was Utah State was 7. I mean, they kind of been on the ropes, and you get a new coach to come in there, win at home like that at the end. That's kind of stuff you build on all season long. You get some confidence. And it's great to have confidence early on and then try to build on it, right? Mm-hmm. And a guy like Anthony Richardson, I mean, he's got all the tools. I think Florida's going to be scary. I think Tennessee and Florida both are going to be scary over in the East this year.
For sure. And I do want to ask you, you brought up Stetson. John Parker is a guy who's been the new guy that's starting his first game. You've also been the guy that went through the offseason as the guy, that went through fall camp as the guy. Stetson Bennett's already a hero. I mean, he's already won the national championship for Georgia at the quarterback position. He is legitimately playing with house money, and it really looked like he was playing with house money. And I mean that complimentary. I mean, he was making plays outside of the pocket, which we've seen Stetson extend the play, but he just looked like there was really nothing to lose because there isn't. You're already a hero. The odds are already stacked against you, which to me makes you a very dangerous man.
The mailman, very dangerous. You're exactly right, because when you're the guy and nobody's questioning it, I mean, he won a national championship. He's going to be their starting quarterback, right? He doesn't have to look over his shoulder. He could go out and throw 5 interceptions, and guess what? Nobody's going to be saying, let's bring in the backup. For a quarterback, that frees you up. That lets you go play. You don't have to think about, okay, I'm 18 for 28 so far in the game. Like you're not thinking about those things. It frees you up and lets you just go play. It's that's a bit. I mean, he did some unusual things against Oregon. I mean, moving the pocket. He had a couple like trickery plays. These are things that you don't do. You just take a sack and go down and move on, kick a field goal. Not the end of the world, right? But when you're freed up and you got nothing to worry about, you can be a dangerous player. And you're exactly right. It's house money in a good way. It's not like he's going out there and just freewheeling it. He's going out there and I think being the player that he wants to be and that he can be.
Yeah. I think it's true. Little Baker Mayfield in him a little bit.
Little bit?
Little bit. Look, I'm not saying he is, but
the list of Alabama quarterbacks is really the most prestigious in the country. I mean, you go all the way back to Bart Starr and Joe Namath and Kenny Stabler, my father-in-law. John Parker Wilson has the honor of being on that list. My father-in-law, Richard Todd. But really, this most recent quartet, when you think about Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones, it really is unprecedented what Alabama's been able to do. And then Bryce Young, the only one out of all that group to win the Heisman Trophy. We both thought C.J. Stroud might be the odds-on favorite coming into the season to win the Heisman Trophy. And now I'm looking around. I know we've only played one game, but do you think Bryce Young can win back-to-back Heisman Trophies?
I don't know, man. It's so hard to do. And his numbers last year were so gaudy. I think that's the biggest thing that he's got to face is trying to throw for 47 touchdowns again and 4,800 yards passing. Only had seven interceptions, but you know what? Throwing 5 touchdowns in the first game and running another one for 100 yards, that kind of helps.
It's a good
helps
start.
It out early. It's a pretty solid start. I think he can do it. Bryce is a special talent, man. He can make all the throws. It was fun to watch him run the ball like he did against Utah State. Didn't have to do it a lot last year. They didn't ask him to do it, and I think he kind of showed that, hey, I can do it. Y'all don't forget, I still got some wheels. I can still move. But Bryce, his vision is unbelievable.
It's wild.
The way he finds receivers downfield. I think it was a 3rd down play last week. Trayshawn Holds coming across the middle. He has to move in the pocket. He starts to escape. And I don't know how he found the guy, but he does it week in and week out. And when you have the vision like that, like he's a smaller guy, right? I think his whole life he's been having to move in the pocket and find open guys and navigate different windows. It probably used to be a weakness of his, but now, this is a strength. And the way this team's going to set up, the way we're going to play defense around him and he's going to have a lot of chances, right? Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, these guys are going to get off the field. So he's going to have a lot of chances to put up some numbers. And then the receivers that we've got now, it was a question mark kind of coming to the season, but I think this first game, Jermaine Burton, Trayshawn Holden, we caught the ball really well out of the backfield. I think he's going to have a lot of chances to put up the numbers that he did last year.
Yeah. This early in the season, we hate to just pencil in Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship, but look, it's looking like it could be heading for that showdown, and it could be more epic, John Parker, than even last season when you look at the way things have started. Looking over to Athens, beyond the 49-3 score, what really stood out from Georgia against Oregon?
I think being able to come off a national championship and do it in week one, right? It's hard to do. It's hard to keep that momentum going throughout an offseason, especially the layoff that Georgia had from their last national championship to now. It's a big deal over there, y'all. I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. My wife's from Atlanta, so I know these Georgia fans really well. And for this team to come out and just, reload and pick up right where they left off last year, to me, that was impressive, right? They've got talent. We know they've recruited well. But just mentally being able to come out there against, a big team, Oregon, that's a big game. That was Alabama's used to starting off with big games like that. But I think it sets the tone. It does a really good job of setting the tone for the rest of the season. And they were able to answer the call. And it was an impressive thing to watch. And people have been talking about Tennessee and Florida in the East. And can they challenge Georgia? You put it back there on that board right there. I think Georgia's going to be in Atlanta this come December.
All right.
And without a doubt.
I agree, especially after the slacking they gave Oregon. JPW, what's up, man? I got a question. Let's go to the Texas side for a second, all right? Let's put the headset on. You're Coach Sark. All right, you have a redshirt freshman walking into a huge game. You're a 21-point dog. What would your messaging be to him walking in there? Well, what would be the consistency of what you wanted him to do?
Survive.
Go have fun. I mean, go out there, let it rip. He was the number one recruit for a reason. He looked really good last week. I know it was against losing in Monroe, but it's nice for a true freshman like that to be able to, or a redshirt freshman to be able to get your feet wet a little bit, right?
Yep.
You don't have to go out there and play Alabama your first game. You get Alabama at home. I think that's a big deal for a young guy. I would just tell him to go have fun. And I think, I got to watch a lot of Sarkisian offense. The guy is so creative in the way he calls plays. And I think he's going to help out that young quarterback a ton. And you've got to be able to do that against this Alabama defense, right? You can't just run your vanilla offense and drop back. You've got to be able to move the pocket, motions, shifts. They're going to have a ton of that. I think that's one of the things that makes Sarkisian special is he's able to isolate people pre-snap. He did it so many times with Devontae Smith moving around. Devontae became a running back later in the season for his Heisman year, just as much time as he spent in the backfield. So Sarkisian's going to have a great game plan for Alabama. He knows this defense. He knows this team. He's kind of like Stetson Bennett, right? He's playing with house money right now. You're not expected to beat Alabama. If you lose by 12, that's a pretty good game for them. But go out there, have fun, and let it rip. And, try to put up some numbers against the best. Will Anderson, if you can go out there and compete and play well against them, you got to feel good for the rest of the year in their conference.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go to the Booster Club here. A little BJPS09X13. Question for you, John Parker. What, if any, game is a trap game for Bama? And he wants to know the same question for Georgia, too.
Trap game for Bama? I don't know. I think every game's a trap game for both these teams.
Yeah.
It really is, I mean, A&M's one we've circled all season long. I think if you had to point to a trap game, probably like LSU, right? They struggled, obviously, against Florida State.
Yeah.
But they recruit well. We do go on the road down there this year. But Alabama and Georgia, look, they've got their target on the back every single week. Everybody's going to bring a new game plan. They're going to save plays that they've been working on, during the summer that they're going to unveil against Alabama and Georgia. So, it's a mindset for these guys that you can't take a week off. And especially, in the SEC, crazy things happen week in and week out. And you're not untouchable, right? You got to show up. You got to play. Alabama's lost games in the past where we should have won. It happens week in and week out. Not as much as it does in the NFL, but they can't take a week off. You can't afford to take a week off. And practice is the biggest thing, right? Football, you practice all week, and And how you show up on Saturday really is a reflection of what you've done during the week. If you lay off Monday through Friday, you're not going to play well. You can't flip a switch on and play well on Saturday. So that's what it's going to take for this year for both those teams.
Get everybody's best shot.
All right, Texas Ed, #AskJPW. Will there be any team in the Big Ten that will challenge the University of Michigan and the Ohio State Buckeyes?
I don't think so. I mean, those two teams are kind of in a league of their own right now. Top heavy. We got Michigan State. Iowa always seems to sneak up on people, but I think those two teams right now with the talent they have, it's tough to compete with talent. It really is. We always say Jimmy's and Joe's always beat X's and O's. You have the best game plan in America of all time, and sometimes you just get out athletes. And right now, I think the teams at the top just got better athletes than everybody else.
Yeah, you think Michigan wins that conference, right, John Parker, or what? I just want to, I want you on the record here.
I've heard his
over the summer, I've become a pretty big Michigan fan.
Yes.
That's my boy. Michigan shows up everywhere. There's Michigan people wherever.
That's what we say all the time.
That's what we say.
Just don't
say go blue when you talk to them.
They don't say go blue when you say it to them, man.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that was my get off my lawn last week. I'll send it to you.
So disrespectful.
I couldn't imagine.
I like to get off my lawn, by the way. Great movie, Green Torino. And I'm liking that segment. It's pretty.
It is.
Yeah, it was Jake's idea.
One of the few, because again, it's like Cone said, he's like Jack Harlow and his dadgum raps. And he's taking over there. It's like
his hit raps, man. They call me an old curmudgeon.
Yeah, you are. You're an old curmudgeon. I'm afraid to get on your lawn. But
the kids do it to you, man. They did to you.
Yeah, I know. I'm next up, so we'll see. But John Parker, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you for taking time. I know you're excited about watching this weekend. We'll see. I've got Bama minus 18.5. So tail that one pretty hard from a friend to a friend.
Lock it in. I like that pick. I think that's a good one right there.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
See you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya. John Parker Wilson,
man,
one of our favorites, man. Of course.
Yeah.
You know what, Blaine? While you're going to the Boost Club over there, we've done our fantasy reveal. Mm-hmm. We've had John Parker. Got a huge preview of the Week 2 slate. Talked a little Buffalo, Los Angeles as well. I'm gonna head over to the board of Extreme Truth.
Extreme Truth.
Extreme Truth.
Okay.
Friendship.
We're adding adjectives now.
Yes. Extreme Truth. Friendship, dedication, commitment, back to friendship. Let's figure it out. 1-1 yesterday. Not upset about it, but also forgot about it. Doesn't matter. It's a new day. What is yesterday except something that didn't happen to get you ready for today? So I'm going football tonight. Had to bet baseball the last 2 days. Not really excited about it. Got through it 2-2. The Nerfy hit yesterday, but the Yankees decided against some person we've never heard of to only to win by 1. I had him on the run line minus 1.5 at plus 120. Forget about it, Domingo. Just come in there and give up 2 in the first, clown. Anyways, here's what I got. Give me the Rams, Bills, over 52. I know it's game 1. All right, I know but I don't see a feeling out process here. Josh Allen didn't forget. Mm-hmm. They've added pieces. The Rams. Do you lose OBJ? Welcome in Mr. Robinson.
Who's OBJ?
Allen Robinson. OBJ? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Is that a Star Wars?
Tomato, you know what he's getting at.
No, OBJ, not Obi-Wan. OBJ. But you get Allen Robinson. So I think we're going to hit the over. Really feeling Bills 38-34. And if I'm going to take them by 4, why don't we go and get alternate line? Bills are 2.5-point favorite. Let's get them at -3 at plus 115. That's the only plus money you can get, minus 2.5. You're minus there, so you're not winning as much as you could. Look, Bills win by 3. It's field goal. It's a push.
Okay.
It's a push. What's a push? It's not a loss. I can tell you that. Cone, let's read some of your bets.
Okay.
Push it real good?
Push it real good. Jake told me I went 2-0 yesterday. I don't believe him because all I see is 0-0 when I look on this sheet.
You're running away with that.
You taking that Bills-Rams over at 52?
Yeah.
Yeah, bet buds, minus 110. I like it. And then White Sox, A's, Nerfy, and here's the reason. Dylan Cease on the mound, you ever heard of him? 2.13 ERA, hashtag you're out against JP Sears, 2.37 ERA. Get 6 outs in a row.
JP
6 outs in a row. Nerfy, that's going off at, what are those odds up there? Minus 165?
Yeah, you got it at a really, really emotional minus 165.
Not a dirty?
It's probably going to happen. No.
A clean or just an emotional?
Just an emotional.
An emotional minus 165, Blaine.
I love it.
Hey,
I'm going to go a little.
Where's Waldo? What you got?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Thanks.
No, there's nothing funny like that story you told earlier. All right, let's go.
That's a great story. What?
Buffalo Rams alternative total over 48.5. Easy money, minus 170. Rams plus 5.5, minus 185. God, easy money. It's going to be a 3-point game. I think it's going to be 27-24 Bills.
Yeah, why do you got to say 27-24? You keep saying that. That'd be at 50.
That's what I think it is.
That's.
Can we both hit? I know
Can it not be?
Who's not hitting?
Can it not be
hitting? Who's not?
We got the over at 52, bro. 27 is going to be.
I think it's going to be 27-31 Bills.
I want to take the alternate line at over 30.
Yeah, the 30 at minus 3.
You can't get that with the odds, David. Sorry. You have to stick to the rules.
Sorry, you can't get it.
All right, Baby Cone's got the Rams plus 3.5. He's also got the Marlins, Phillies, Nerfy, minus 150, keeping it steady.
We have some top plays, too. Oh, you got to read these.
Yeah, I'm going to read the Boost Club bets, and then we'll go top plays. Cody Nason, the graphic king, or the king of getting graphic, is 8-0. Cone's Laser Rocket is 7-0.
There he is.
Midnight Crane to Georgia, also 7-0. Bracket Dom is 6-0. Her Dizzle's 4-0. The Red Aaron's also 4-0. Theo Dictator, C. Everett 21. Our buddy Drew Dismukes, a.k.a. Dirty Drew. And Jay Dorhauer, our buddy Jay Dorhauer 23 is 3-0. I believe we have somebody that's 9-0 as well, but I didn't want to jinx him, so I didn't put him on there.
Okay.
And as I said the other day, shout out to Katie Rose for making the Hall of Fame. Al Caramba, we got to see. I feel like the dream ended yesterday. We'll see. I need to double check on that. But welcome to Valhalla. Here's our top play. Go ahead, Coach.
Cardinals' top play here. They're down 5-4, bottom of the ninth. Keep in mind, they are leading this division in the NL Central right now. They're up 9.5 games. Run this clip.
Let's do it. Is it a walk-off? Tommy.
Walk.
Let's go the other way. Why are we playing so short, Coach? You got to make that catch.
Catch the ball, dude.
You got to make that catch. But it's the Nationals, so let's all get together.
Ball game.
You love a good walk-off.
The Cardinals are sneaky, man. The last ride for Wainwright and Pujols, maybe.
How you hit a ball where it's pitched?
That is. Watch the ball's tailing away. I'm going to go with it, Coach. Hands back, eyes up, hearts full.
Nice.
I'm going to throw the knob at the ball.
That's it. You got to catch that, though.
Catch the ball. You
got to
pay
catch
millions of dollars to beat mid.
Yeah. I watch kids catch that in the Little League World Series.
And your boy. We also have your boy up
Yeah,
there.
you know what?
Judge,
All you do is talk about how we always have the
Just show Aaron Judge highlights. I love it.
So here we got Reptar hitting another one.
I mean, he might chase down the record.
Number 55.
At this rate.
It's important.
At this rate.
I don't know why they continue to pitch to this guy. Let's go ahead and run the clip. So Aaron Judge, who's 6'7" and angry.
And it's gone.
I mean, that ball's it's tracking back over the middle. What did you expect? He's 8 feet tall.
It would just be low and out.
It'd be low. That's right down the middle. That's a line drive. That's a home run.
Boys, I mean, he's tracking. He's tracking
his
for
hands
62 here.
Man, his swing
that
is
launch
so tight.
angle.
Yeah, well, again, you guys with longer arms, I mean, typically your swing isn't
so
that tight or concise, but his swing is so tight.
One thing I like watching about Aaron Judge, watch him on deck.
Yeah.
Watch his process on deck.
What does he do on deck?
It's just the way he does his hands. His practice swing is just this.
Yeah.
That's all he does. He doesn't full swing. He just does his hands like this to try and get that launch angle to hit that tank.
Well, if you think about it too, he's so big. He doesn't have to wind up and swing. He's not like Jose Altuve. He doesn't have to swing as hard as he can to be able to really absolutely clear one. I mean, Aaron Judge, if he looks at the ball long enough, it's a home run. So that was a good play. I like that. That's a good pick, and I hope everybody's happy. But Blaine, let's go to the Booster Club.
Yeah, let's go to Travis Elrod. Hashtag ask John, who's not here anymore, so I'm going to ask it to us. Who has a better year, Lane Kiffin or Mike Leach?
This is a tough one, man.
That's
like Ole Miss looked, and I went high on Mississippi State. It's the only prediction I had in the SEC that I'm not feeling great about going into week 2 because Mississippi State looked really good. Will Rogers, we know he's a witch. I'm gonna say Mississippi State.
I like that. 4 weeks ago, I would have said Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
But then Mike Leach came on our show and gave me some parental advice and talked, really broke down Breaking Bad. We were talking Yellowstone. I'm going Mike Leach.
Yeah, for sure. And look, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, still got a little bit to work on. You handle business against Troy. That's not an easy game. Anybody who really knows. But I'm looking now, Mississippi State's looking a little bit more dangerous. They go out and play Arizona this week. We're going to find out a little bit. The Jed Fishes out there swimming upstream, or not upstream anymore. Like it's getting better.
Randy Wise, who do you guys think is going to the WNBA game?
I think it's 100%
Have we told the
Walsh.
punishment on here?
Yeah, so the punishment for fantasy, again, check out the fantasy draft. Just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as well. So the loser has to sit courtside at a WNBA game. I just feel like the Matrix is going to make it Walsh.
You think so?
I think just the way the Matrix works, it's going to be.
Not if the Ravens do well.
Now, if the Ravens do well, then he's going to do
Except,
well.
I mean, he's losing on their bye week, but you sacrifice that one
He said
week.
he doesn't do trades or roster.
He said, I don't do trades or roster updates.
It's locked in.
Yeah.
It's locked in, which we're going to have to talk to the commissioner about that.
I don't know, man. I feel like if J.K. Dobbins starts to ball a little bit, he's going to be looking over at my squad.
No,
I kind of want him to complete the Power Ranger,
Yeah, it'll be Matt or Ben. It'll be Walsh or Shapiro that goes.
And Ben's team and I'm telling you, Clavin's team.
Clavin's sneaky.
Claven,
what do you think about Knowles' team?
Knowles, hey, with the War Room and Ben Davies, Scott Hansen come in, everybody has a dangerous squad.
Yeah, it's 8 teams, a lot of depth, should be a lot of fun.
All right, M. Hutton says, I'm taking Devin Singletary over 44.5 rushing yards today.
He needs the touches. He needs the touches. What's it going off at? What are the odds on that? I need to know the odds on that. Let me guess. Minus 135. How much you want to bet?
You think it's
Now I have to find it.
Yeah,
it's going to bother me.
Here, you stay on the booster club. I'll find it. What is it, Devin Singletary?
Yeah. Oh, you said over 44.5, Blaine?
Props. Yep, it's over 43.5. It's minus 113.
Ooh, you were close.
Yeah, I would have liked it better at 130. I like that. I like that. Early, keep it on the ground, kind of figure it out. One more, and we're going to wrap this puppy up.
All right, we'll get to this, and then we'll get to the poll. All right, Travis Elrod. Who wins at ping pong and air hockey? Yes, I was in the band. I'm a band director, but I will beat you all 3 at those.
Ooh.
No, you won't.
Ping pong, I don't know. Have we played ping pong?
I'm a savage.
You don't want to see me in ping pong.
I'm a savage.
Like, literally, people think I'm from,
Are you Forrest
somewhere
Gumping
in
people?
Asia when they watch me play ping pong.
Really?
Yes.
Asian Jake.
Yes.
How about you?
I'm a savage. I already told everybody on the show, the only thing I can't do is throw a Frisbee.
Who's winning out of y'all in ping pong?
Me.
What?
And then y'all come out of the losers bracket.
No. We'll play ping pong on it. We'll
That's
see.
fine.
Watch Blaine just hit it over every time.
It'll go quick.
Blaine tries to smack it really hard every time.
Then Jacob start making the table's not regulation. What's wrong with
It's so funny you said make excuses. You're the biggest excuse maker of all time.
No.
Ever. Ever of all time. Watch.
If you've ever been on a golf course with Jake,
Yeah.
you would know.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
This is coming from
For
you.
sure. For
That
100%.
is crazy.
Cone knows.
That's a brother's love.
That's
a brother's love.
All right, poll. Who won the draft last night?
Okay, what are our options?
It's us 3.
us 3.
All right.
Us 3.
Good. I like this option.
I would have done.
Let me guess.
Other.
You know.
Since Blaine colluded with the chat, I'm going to say probably Blaine 38%.
Yeah, well, I'm going with me. You got to
Okay.
look at that roster.
Say Blaine 38%.
All right, Jake, 25%.
Okay.
Wrong.
Blaine, 37%.
Okay, come on.
David, 38%.
Ooh, let's go.
How did Cone
They
win
saw
the
the
draft?
roster.
I'm
They saw the
colluding.
roster. They checked it out. They know what's going on. Okay, week 1, I think.
I tell you what.
Thanks, Booster Club.
That's fine.
I'll take
y'all.
that.
Y'all, I'm back on my bully now. I'm back on it now.
Oh, no.
Y'all want it? I was
Now
off
we
it for a
got
little
mad.
bit, but I'm on it now.
Oh,
They said-
wow.
they-
Oh,
no,
wow.
that
the
was a
poll
makeup.
just ended the poll, and actually it went down to, we tied at 37%.
What did I?
Well, but you already announced, so that's out of the bag. And plus, I feel
Well,
like that
it's the
maybe was a
ending right
makeup
here.
vote because they voted for you to win the month.
No, this is look. No, I don't want to hear no makeup votes.
Yeah,
I don't want to
makeup
time.
vote.
You can try and spin this, make me feel better about it.
I want to make you feel
Anyway,
good.
Well, I mean,
really, they just
according
looked at
to
the
the
roster.
Booster Club, according to our fans,
Where are the holes in my roster?
you
Where-
drafted the worst team. So
I love when you give me Kermit face.
Oh,
saying, in their
yeah.
opinion,
Like, Kermit
in their
face.
opinion, out of us 3,
Kermit face?
you failed
that
everybody.
Kermit face.
It's Kermit face.
You
I
failed
frown
everybody.
so much.
Hey, I have a parting thought here, boys. My parents were at Fenway Park yesterday.
They were.
They sent a couple photos here.
Okay,
No
let's check
way.
it out.
Look at
Nice.
this.
I've never been to Fenway.
Who are they playing?
Who were they playing? I don't know.
I
I don't even know if they went
I
to a
don't think
game.
they
Show
were
the other
playing right
photo.
there. Nobody's in the press
That's
box.
There they go.
There it is.
Look at mom and dad at Fenway Park.
Hey.
That's dope. I got to go.
Done something I haven't done.
Man, I got to go to Fenway. Got to go to Wrigley. I want to do like the ballpark tour, like 2025, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe in a random year like that. Just start like up top, Yankees, or start in Flushing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make fun of the Mets. Work my way all the way down, continuing to make fun of the Mets throughout other parks as well.
I just want to go to Inner Earth, see what it's like.
Inner Earth.
What is?
Golly, we're talking baseball.
You're
baseball,
weird
baseball,
today. This
Inner
is
Earth.
one of your.
We're
weird
talking
days.
baseball. Is
you're just-
Inner Earth's the
this is
line?
just
That's
one
the
of your
line.
Your
weird
parting thoughts.
That's
your
the
parting
line.
thoughts.
I can't have party thought. You're
Yeah.
just upset that the Booster Club think you drafted the worst team.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
not. I'm just,
Take a seat.
okay.
Take a seat.
You're weird today. I don't like it.
You're obviously your team's weird and not
weirdly good.
It's a good show, boys.
Yes, good show. Make sure you like and subscribe. Got a big show for you tomorrow. Tom Luganville. We're breaking down all the big games in the Week 2 slate. Going to be reviewing the NFL. Remember, we have our Saturday special with Mike Golick Jr. Very excited about that this weekend. And then our Sunday recap. You guys loved it. We're not only going to be recapping what happened in Saturday's action on Sunday morning, we're going to be previewing the NFL games, and we will be dropping our bets for college Saturday morning. Make sure to check out that Saturday special as well.
A lot of sharps.
Then a lot of sharps. It's basically a scissor store over here. And then we're going to be dropping our 6 bets for the NFL on Sunday morning.
That's 8 shows in 7 days.
That is. We're grinding it out. 8
shows in 7 days for the Booster Club.
Yes, books, science, math, things like that. Make sure you like, subscribe. Make sure you check us out on all social media platforms. Appreciate you guys joining us. The show continues to blow up, and we're trying to go up. He's weird today, man.
Me?
The stripes make him weird.
After those 2 sentences.
And like the chances,
Harlow,
of Blaine and Cone beating me or Shapiro or any of these people in our new fantasy football draft, we're going, gone. I got Derrick Henry. Everybody.